Axe Angels 2.0, the most responsible way to save for the down payment on your Axe homestead. Earn guaranteed returns while waiting for your homestead by becoming your own lender. Hey there, my name is TJ Visude. I'm the founder and CEO of Axe Centralized Real Estate. My wife and I started Axe with one mission and one mission only, and that is to provide the most seamless way for families to transition out of the suburbs and into their own off-grid regenerative luxury family compounds. The way we do that is by acquiring 500 to 1,500 acre properties across the United States of America, dividing those properties into individual properties that people get to buy and own outright, and offering the services to turn those parcels of raw land into off-grid regenerative luxury family compounds. Now, today, we're going to be talking about the Axe Angels 2.0 program. And I'm not kidding around when I tell you that it really is the most responsible way to save for the down payment on your Axe homestead. Maybe if I flip that title, I can make it even clearer. Not doing this program, if you're waiting for land, might be one of the most irresponsible things that you could do. If you are trying to save up your down payment, or if you're looking for a way to take money out of other assets like real estate or cryptocurrency or the stock market, and they're trying to find a place to put your money into, not using this program is financially illiterate, in my opinion, if you want to join Axe Centralized Real Estate, if you want to get started with us. It's taken us 4 years to build this program. 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears. And to be very honest, I don't take any credit for this solution. I have to say that this solution, the Axe Angels 2.0 program, is a gift from the Lord. It comes from the Holy Spirit. I take no credit for this because, man, this program is just so powerful. So please sit down, grab some popcorn, get a pen and paper, and follow along as we talk to you about the new Axe Angels 2.0 program. All right, let's just dive right into it. What if I told you that you could earn 43% returns in 24 months, guaranteed, backed by real assets with no market volatility or risk? Now you might ask, TJ, how is that even possible? That sounds absolutely insane. Well, the reason I can say that is because this opportunity that I want to show you exists outside of the markets entirely. It just skips the whole conversation of markets. Now you might say, okay, well, what does it mean to be outside of the markets? Well, markets are any type of investment that require you to buy low and sell high. So the problem with that, with trying to buy low and sell high, is that markets require timing. So when are you going to buy your crypto? When are you going to sell it? When are you going to buy some stocks? When are you going to sell the stocks? When are you going to enter the real estate market? When are you going to exit the real estate market? Timing is what screws everyone up. And studies show that 90% of investors fail to time the market correctly. They buy high and sell low, they miss the rallies, and they panic in the crashes. Even professional fund managers can't consistently time the market. One famous study showed that a monkey throwing darts at a list of stocks performed just as well as professional Wall Street analysts picking stocks. If you want more recent proof, a 2013 study published in Research Affiliates showed that over 15 years, 92% of professional fund managers failed to beat the market. So my question to you is this: if the experts can't beat random chance, what makes you think that you can when you want to time the market and pull out to be able to use money for the down payment for an Axe property? And by the way, that's all if you actually could time the market. The fact of the matter is, I have no idea, you have no idea, no one has any idea what the market will do when we finally come to your area. So let's say that you're waiting for Virginia, for example. You want land in Virginia. I don't know what the market's going to be doing when we go out there to Virginia. Literally, only God knows. So You can't time the market if you tried, and you're in an even worse position trying to wait for an axe property and then trying to time the market. But the Axe Angels 2.0 program eliminates the timing risk. There is no right time to worry about. You just sign, your rate locks in, you earn interest, it's guaranteed no matter what the markets do, and you apply your land credits towards land when you're ready. There's no charts to watch, there's no panic selling, there's no FOMO buying, just smooth growth. With this opportunity, you become the banker. You build equity with X. You outpace basically everything you could put your money into, and you lock in your bonus rate forever, even for future deposits. And you get to pool funds with your family to maximize power. So if you are that first mover in your family, congratulations. You just set up a locked-in rate for all of your other family members. More on that as we continue forward. Okay, but the point here is this: because returns are contractual, not speculative, you can rest easy. So here's a little thought experiment to understand what I'm talking about here, all right? Let's say you have $100,000, all right? And let's look at what that $100,000 is gonna become over the next 24 months if you are waiting for us to go out to your state, all right? All right, so option number one, you have $100,000 that is kept in a savings account. After 24 months, that $100,000 might only become $102,000. And banks will advertise that as if that's an amazing rate. Now let's consider this. Let's say you put it into a high yield savings account. Well, that $100,000 might become $108,000, which is better, but you're still barely keeping up with inflation. Now let's say you put it into a CD, a certificate of deposit. Well, it's locked up, you can't touch it, and you get minimal gains, so that $100,000 turned to $108,000. Let's look at treasury bonds. You put it your $100,000, you're gonna get back $108,000 to $109,000. You go to Acre Trader. Okay, a lot of people don't know what Acre Trader is. Acre Trader is the closest thing to trying to invest in something similar to Axe. It's farmland simplified, except what you're doing is you are investing in GMO corn and soy monocrops. Okay, so you're just buying a bunch of monocrops, and that's if you can actually participate. That's if you can participate. Well, if you go to Acre Trader and you get the returns, that $100,000 might turn to maybe $116,000, maybe $125,000. Decent returns, but again, it's locked for 5 to 10 years and it's got zero liquidity. Now let's say you put it into the S&P 500. It might turn into about $121,000 or $122,000. If the market doesn't crash. Just remember, 2022, down 18%, 2008, down 37%. So you better hope. You better hope that there's no market crash. Let's talk about crypto. Okay, a lot of people talk about crypto. Well, realistic scenario crypto is if you're like most people, the majority of people actually lose money in cryptocurrencies. So your 100,000 might have only turned into 90,000, or it could become 130,000 on average if we just look at the realistic gains that might be there. So you might gain 30% or you might lose 10 to 50%. You have no idea. Even that day, you don't know. Now, if you're lucky, here's what could happen. You could turn it to maybe $150,000, maybe $300,000 if you time it perfect. But remember, 90% of people can't time the market. So do you believe that you're in the top 10%? Now, what about Axe Angels 2.0? If you were to put in $100,000 and keep it for 24 months with what I'm about to show you, you could potentially earn and turn it into $143,000 over the course of 24 months. And we're going to answer exactly how that's the case. So again, we look at savings account, we look at Acre Trader, we look at crypto, and we look at Axe. Axe, it's far outpacing everything else, and it's outside of the markets. There's no volatility, there's no 50% crash risk, there's no timing required. It's predictable growth, and you know what you're getting. Now, the question is, how is that possible? How can you do that, right? I want you to stick with me because I have an insane bonus for you if you stick to the end and you understand what I am trying to show you, because this is very, very powerful. All right, so right now, you are waiting for land to become available. You're watching your crypto portfolio swing wildly. You're sitting on the couch, you're sitting on cash that's earning nothing, or you're locked into things like Acre Trader for years, or you're hoping the S&P doesn't crash. So while you're waiting, there are other opportunities that allow you to have it so that, number one, we move to your state faster so you can finally move in and you can be earning while you're waiting around. All right. And so you don't want to have this anticipation still there. It's killing you. It's like every property we open is a dagger because you wish that that was you. We open up in Montana, but you're sitting there over in Kansas and you're going like, man, why can't they just come out to Kansas? Well, this allows us to finally go out to Kansas. All right. So here's what I'm going to show you today: how to turn your waiting into earning, how to get crypto level returns without the crypto level risk, how to beat every traditional investment while helping Axe families move faster, and why using this opportunity as your savings account might be the smartest place for your money right now. So let's start off by understanding the key problem. The key problem with every other land company is that they are beholden to standard investors. When companies take traditional investor money, their legal obligation shifts from whatever the original dream or goal was to help people to maximizing investor returns. Literally and legally, when you are the manager of an investment fund, your only focus is to maximize investor returns. If you don't do that, you could actually be kicked out of an investment fund. So the result is people lose. You get compromised quality to hit profit margins. People cut corners to satisfy quarterly targets. You get rushed developments that fall apart, and you have higher prices because investors need their cut. Now at Axe, we made the commitment to refuse to do this. We don't take standard investors because our responsibility is to Axe families and not Wall Street. That's why it's not a joke when I say, I am like you. I want to live on Axe properties, and I want to make sure that we make these properties as nice as possible to live in. And investors are directly oppositional to that. So this creates a challenge for us. We as a company need capital to open properties faster without giving up control or compromising quality. So our solution is the Angels 2.0 program. In this program, you become the bank. You earn the returns. Axe families win and you win. And that's where Angels 2.0 comes in. The breakthrough is that this allows us to flip your waiting into earning, let Axe move faster than ever, and get a guaranteed return without becoming a security because you are the bank. You are the one doing the lending. So let's talk about why and how this works legally, because if we did this wrong, the SEC would come in and shut everything down, but this exists outside of those structures, okay? So why do we structure things as personal loans in this program? That is the secret. That is the big thing that we need to ask. What are so good about personal loans? Well, if we offered a standard security like stocks or investment contracts or investment fund, the SEC could shut us down if we don't comply with their terms. And this is a problem because the fact is most Axe families would not be able to qualify for standard security terms. What do I mean by that? If you want to open an investment fund, then typically you have to make it available for accredited investors only. So what does it mean to be an accredited investor? Well, you'd have to be making $250,000 a year as your income individually, or $300,000 a year as an income for your household, or $1 million a year, or you have to have $1 million in assets excluding real estate in your name. So if you don't meet these three criteria, if you don't make $250,000 a year as an individual or $300,000 a year as a household, or you don't own $1 million in assets, not including real estate, then congratulations, you are not an accredited investor. Therefore, I would not be able to go to you and talk to you about the best opportunities that we have at Axe. Now, let's look at non-accredited investors. In certain types of funds, you are limited to only 35 people total. There is zero advertising allowed. And if you do another type of fund, then at best, families could only contribute up to 5% of their annual income, even if they have other money left over for them to put in. So if you have a person who makes $70,000 a year, they can only put in $3,500. That's it. Or if they make $100,000 a year, they can only put in $5,000. And that's it. That's not going to do anything when it comes to buying land. This is why, by the way, we can't give direct guarantees on franchising or axe resorts, even though it's one of the number one questions people ask us. People go to us all the time and they'll be like, TJ, well, just tell me exactly how much money can my franchise make? Please, I want to know just what's the ROI on a franchise. I can't tell you and I can't guarantee you an ROI on a franchise because that would turn franchising into a security. Same thing with axe resorts. We don't say guaranteed blah, blah, blah return because that would represent a security. Any single time that you have a system where people guarantee a return while you do absolutely no work, that is creating a security. And we don't want to trigger any types of regulations such as those. So the Angels program bypasses all of this because personal loans are not securities, which means there are no income requirements. There is no limit on the number of participants. We can advertise, we can guarantee your return via interest, and it's completely legal under Texas law. This is the loophole that makes everything possible. So we came out with the Angels 1.0 program, and that was good for its time. It allowed us to get up and running with the first few properties, but it had a few fatal flaws. First off, Angels 1.0 only worked when new properties opened in areas that people wanted. So for example, it got to the point where there was over $9 million of potential angel funds, but scattered throughout the United States in all sorts of states where there was only one or two people interested, and that's it. So you have all these people waiting around that have money, that have funds, and are complaining, I want Axe to move faster to come to my state, but they're specifically not working together. And by the way, the whole point of Axe, the reason we're called Axe, is a reference to Acts chapter 2 from the Bible, where people specifically work together to break bread with people from all the land. The next big issue with Angels 1.0 was that there was no guaranteed return. It was just hope and incentives for land credits. So you would put in and you would get a guaranteed amount of land credits that you could use. But while you're waiting in between there, you were not earning anything. So there was no incentive for Angels to stay patient. And this was obnoxious, to be honest. This is why I had to end the program, because the impatience that builds up when you're trying to do development or when you're trying to go through paperwork, it was just awful to deal with as the owner of Axe and as I brought on new Angels. And again, this is all because it was limited to land credits only and not cash. But Angels 2.0 fixes all of this, all right? The question is how? Well, this is how Texas law makes it possible. Texas allows personal loans with no limit on the number of people, no limit on the amount of money, no limit on the timing, and up to 18% simple interest. But remember, it has to be based in Texas when you do a deal such as this. Well, it just happens to be, by the way, that Access Centralized Real Estate is based in Texas. So what does this mean for you? Well, we can guarantee a return via interest payments. We just agree on an interest rate. And you can have rolling contributions where you can add to your account anytime. There's no cap on participants. Everyone can join and your money can work for you while you wait. This is how we turn your waiting into earning. So how does the Angels 2.0 program work? Well, it's very simple. It's only 3 steps. Step 1 is you contact us and choose your interest rate. You either choose a 1% monthly simple interest, literally 1% of the amount you contributed, sent back as an interest payment in a wire deposit or a check, or you could choose 1.5% monthly as deferred interest that adds to your account. Step 2, you sign your documents to lock in your signing bonus, which includes the loan agreement, and then you finally transfer funds. And step 3, when you choose an Axe parcel, you apply your signing bonus at the end to your balance. So again, you will have a balance at the end when you're finally ready for your parcel, and the bonus is applied to that amount, whatever that amount might be. And it's used towards your land purchase or your own down payment. What are the benefits of doing things this way? Well, number one, while you're waiting, you get paid. So rather than bothering me with messages about when are we going to get started with this one? When are we going to get started with this one? Oh man, it's going to take another month. Oh man, the government did it. All that other stuff. Your money can instead start earning guaranteed interest instead of sitting idle. And so you'll be calm. You'll be able to say, okay, I'll just wait. I'm still earning some equity. I'm earning some money. It allows us to move faster. Your capital helps AX open properties faster, including whatever state you want us to go to. It's backed by assets. It can be secured by AX real estate holdings, which, by the way, at the time of this speaking is going to be over, right now it's 15 million, but very soon it's going to be over $25 million in land. And it builds over time. Those rolling contributions are allowed so you can add more anytime, which is what I mean by you can use it as a sort of savings account, and it's all applied to your purchase so that when you're ready to buy, your balance with all the interest and the bonus goes toward your land and your down payment. So again, how does it work? Well, once you've signed your documents, you've chosen whether you want cash as a payout or you want the deferred interest accrued to your account, you're going to have the following. So you're going to have a grace period. Typically, it's 4 months. Typically, it's a 120-day grace period unless we run a new permission. During this grace period, there is no interest, okay? There's no interest. You only have your signing bonus. There's no interest. Step 2, there's an interest period. After the grace period, the remaining months earn interest. So you will be paid interest-only payments. Step 3, your signing bonus, 10% in this example, is applied to the final balance before your payout. So your final amount is your interest earned and a 10% bonus applied to the total. Let's look at a few examples. Example number 1, you put in $100,000 at 1% simple interest, and it takes 12 months from the day you put money in to us finally having a parcel of land in the state that you want us to go to. So you put in $100,000. The interest rate is 1% per month simple. The grace period is 120 days or 4 months with no interest charged to AX. And the active interest period is 8 months until we finally move forward. And remember, you have that 10% signing bonus applied to the final balance. Well, here would be the math. The interest earned would be $100,000 times 1% over the course of those 8 months after the grace period. So you would have earned $8,000 as $1,000 a month dripped out every single month for 8 months during that 12-month time period. The signing bonus would be 10% times $100,000. This is what you still have in your account, which means it would be a $10,000 signing bonus. So your total gain is calculated as the $8,000 in interest-only payments that you received and the $10,000 that you have as part of your signing bonus. So that's $18,000. Therefore, your return on investment is $18,000 divided by your principal of $100,000, which means you would have gained 18% in 12 months. Incredible. Now, let's look at another example. In this case, let's look at $100,000, but you choose the 1.5% deferred interest option. Once again, let's say it takes 12 months for us to open up land in the area that you want us to go to. Once again, the principal is $100,000. Your interest rate is 1.5% per month as deferred. The grace period is 4 months, and the active interest is 8 months. Once again, the signing bonus is 10% applied to the final balance. So here's the math. The interest earned over the course of those 8 months after the 4-month grace period will be $12,000. So your balance before the bonus is $100,000 and you accrued $12,000. So now you're at $112,000. Now you're ready to choose your parcel of land. So you apply the 10% signing bonus. That $112,000 now became $123,200. Therefore, your return on investment is $23,200 divided by $100,000, 23.2% in 12 months. So you can look at the numbers right here and you can realize exactly what I'm trying to say. Hey, please tell me what you're going to be able to place your money into that exists outside of market structures that you can even have this type of conversation. Now, this is a comparison between choosing the cash route and choosing the 1.5% deferred route. Let's look at it over the course of 18 months. So if you chose the cash route and it's been 18 months, that 100,000 just turned into 125,000 over the course of the interest payments and the bonus that you get there at the end. If you choose the 1.5% deferred, then it would turn into 133,000. So that would have been a 33.1% return over 18 months, or 21.4% per year. Now let's look at it over the course of 24 months. So if you choose the cash route, your 100,000 grew to a final amount of 132,000 between the interest that you earned and your bonus at the end. So that's a 32% total ROI over the course of 2 years. Or if you choose the 1.5%, then the final amount would be 143,000, or a total return on investment of 43% and an annual ROI of 19.6% per year. And once again, you're doing it with no worry about market risk or market volatility. So when we look at it, just look at the comparison to everything else. Look at what a savings account would get you. Look at what a high yield savings account would get you. Only 100, it would only be maybe 8 or 10 grand. With crypto, if you have a bear market, your 100,000 could have halved itself. You could have lost majority of it. The only thing that can possibly compare to what I'm talking about here is cryptocurrencies in a bull market. But even then, what I ask you is, hey, if you are in crypto and you're in a bull market, what are you going to do to pull your money out of that bull market? You're going to have to capitalize somehow. This is the best way for you to capitalize. So a big question you might ask is, why would Axe offer this? I mean, this is just absolutely insane. Like, this is almost too good to be true. How could you do this? And the answer is because it's a win for Axe and a win for you. All right, that's the secret to it all. Reason number one is that speed kills. Alex Hormozi says, speed is the only competitive advantage that is universally applicable. For those of you who've attended my masterclasses, such as the Franchise Masterclass, or you hear me talk about resorts, you'll hear me talk about the STAR principle a lot, which is that when it comes to business, my number one focus is to be the number one company in a market niche that is growing by over 10% per year. I want to be hyper aggressive to place myself at the top of the niche of off-grid, regenerative, luxury family compounds. And this strategy allows us to corner that market and put a foot on the neck of any would-be competition. So that is one of the first reasons why we want this strategy, okay? The reality is, when we look at it, there's over $9 million right now that is sitting in Axe family savings accounts, earning basically nothing. These are people who filled out the form for Angels 1.0 and just kind of sat around doing absolutely nothing for it. But what if that money could earn them a return and allows us to move much faster? We could use that $9 million to go acquire buildings, acquire land, and acquire brand new opportunities. For example, there's Little G West, okay? So there's 35 lots that we want to add to Little G to bring it from 492 acres to over 827 acres. Well, this opportunity allows me to go out and buy that land cash. For Wanted Raw Foods, there is a $1.2 million in-person shop that we want to go acquire so that now people can shop in person to Wanted Raw Foods. There's land in Idaho. There's land in Montana. There's land in Italy that we want to get started with. There's land in California. California, it's going to take $1.5 million just to get through the environmental phase before we even begin the property over in California. So the Angels 2.0 capital allows us to directly fund these openings, and it's actually a better term, believe it or not, it's a better term than anything we could get anywhere else. Which brings me to reason number two, better terms than anything else. As interest-only loans, these terms are better than any other financing we could find in the market. So if we went to the traditional route, Traditional bank loans would be at 7 to 10% interest. They would have strict collateral requirements. They would require a bunch of personal guarantees. Personal lenders can charge 12 to 18% interest. They have short terms. I have to pay the principal and the interest rather than just interest only. And hard money lenders is even worse. And on top of that, these are all third parties, right? So if there was a problem, then I don't want third parties to own Axe land if I can prevent that. Versus with Angels 2.0, when we look at this opportunity, we're thinking to ourselves, hey, you know what? I would trust you much more. I would rather go to you as the bank for earning interest. We trust you. We don't trust the typical bank. So we literally couldn't find better terms anywhere else. So we instead created them. And this is my pitch to you that, hey, we can work together. So again, why would Axe offer this? Because it's a win for Axe and a win for you. It's less paperwork. It locks in buyers because essentially this functions as a pre-sale that guarantees future business. It's safer for everyone. Your capital goes directly to funding Axe. And if there was a worst case scenario, I'd much rather have collateral given to other Axe families than to just random banks who don't care. And there's no equity dilution. We get to raise capital without giving up ownership or control of Axe centralized real estate, which is what I would otherwise have to do if it were not for the Angels program. This is why I said earlier that this program comes as a result of 4 years of study, 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and 4 years of prayer. I truly, literally believe that this was handed to us by the Holy Spirit as a way for us to work together and move forward as a unit and as one heartbeat, as the modern day version of the early Acts church. So at the end of the day, as a CEO, not offering this would be stupid. You get guaranteed returns. We get capital to move faster. Axe families get land sooner. It's a win, win, win. Now, I know there's a few questions that come up for you, all right? Such as, but TJ, what if things go wrong? Well, here are your protections, all right? First off, what if Axe is failing? What if Axe is failing? What if you can't pay on anything? Well, we can use our land as collateral, all right? Worst case scenario, there's over $25 million in real estate assets backing these loans and growing. So your loan is secured by actual property, not promises, all right? I have Panoplia, we have Creo, and as we continue adding new properties, that adds to our collateral that we could use to ensure and back up all of these loans. So literally, in a worst case scenario, you could just file a lien if necessary, but it's not even gonna have to come to that. So the next question is, but what if you don't pay me back? How do I know you'll pay on time? Well, number one, we've written penalty fees into the contracts for the Angels 2.0 program. And if we miss on any one of the payments by more than 5 business days, 3 times over the course of the loan terms, then you can call the loan. All right. So the personal loan structure means you have legal recourse and standard loan collection rights apply, including, for example, if necessary, filing a lien on the individual parcels that we have on over $25 million worth of land across the country and growing. All right, so what if it takes forever to open my state? Well, we have a 5-year guarantee. If we cannot open land in at least one of your 3 preferred states within 5 years, you will receive your balance plus interest as direct cash, not just land credit. So when you are signing the contract, you will literally be able to put in the top 3 states that you want us to go to. And if we can't hit those states in 5 years, then the land credits that you've accrued over that time period turn into actual cash that we will have to pay you out. So again, you are protected on all sides. Now, if you have protections, I have protections as well, all right? So the first one is you are not allowed to borrow money to do this, all right? So you can't say, I'm gonna take out a HELOC and I'm gonna give TJ money because I took out a HELOC, all right? Do not do it. We have contractual stipulations against that. Do not borrow money to do this. Only use money that you have liquid that you can actually just use for yourself. Number two, only use money you already have. And I know that sounds like, well, didn't you just say that? No. Let me make it extra clear. Only use money that you can dispose of, that you can kiss bye-bye. All right, that's it. Simple. It's done. There's no we're going back. I want to pull out now. I got sick. I just want to be out. No, it's not like that. It is a loan. That money is used for actual operations. Next, on this topic of do not expect to pull out early, there is an ironclad 24-month lockup on cash withdrawals. This is a commitment, not a savings account that you can just tap into anytime. Your funds are applied to your land purchase at the end of the term, and if you need liquidity in the next 24 months, this is not for you. So let me say that again. If you need liquidity in the next 24 months, this is not for you. This is for people who are fully committed to the Axe vision. I don't care if your brother's mother's cat is dying. You made a bad investment elsewhere. You lost your job. You disagree with Axe later. You've decided you hate me. I want you to think of Ulysses tying himself to the mast. That's going to be you. So if you know the story of Ulysses, he was on the boat and he asked his shipmates to tie him to a mast so he could listen to the siren song from all the sirens who were playing beautiful music to get him to drown himself off the ship. It's the same thing for you, okay? If you try to break this agreement, I will show up to court, I'll play this video for everyone, and the judge will probably throw out your case because of the number of times that we say you are not pulling out your money before 24 months, okay? So again, this is serious. Do not sign unless you're 100% committed to the Axe vision. All right, but with that being the case, I want to show you a few more incentives, all right? Remember that insane bonus that I mentioned at the beginning? In all the examples that I showed you, I used a 10% signing bonus, and that was just the baseline. But I have a few do not wait bonuses available for you. The first one is that if you sign and fund by 11/14/2025, my November 14th, 2025, I have a 25% signing bonus available for you. So you have to sign and you have to fund by 11/14/2025. If you sign and fund by December 1st, 2025, I have a 20% bonus available for you. And if you sign and fund by January 1st, 2026, it's a 15% bonus. After that, the bonuses are going to reduce down to 10%. So let's do the math on $100,000 with 1.5% per month deferred over 24 months. If you're able to sign and fund by November 14th, 2025, and you wait the whole 24 months as we're trying to get land for you, that $100,000 might turn into about $162,000 of land credits that you can use towards a parcel or you could use as a down payment. So that's a 62.5% ROI. If you do it by December, it goes down to $156,000. If you wait until January, it goes down to $149,000. And after that, it would still be an amazing return of $143,000. So waiting 6 weeks costs you over $19,500 in this example. So you want to lock in now for rolling bonuses, which brings me to my next point, okay? When you lock in now, you are locking in the rate for whatever rolling deposits you add in. So your bonus rate continues for future contributions. You can keep adding funds as you earn more and you keep getting the same bonus on those new funds. So for example, you sign by November 14th, 2025, you lock in the 25% bonus, you add $50,000 today. And then you add $25,000 in March of 2026 and another $25,000 in June of 2026. Well, all of it would get the 25% bonus. And normally you'd have to renegotiate or you'd have to wait until a better term, but you would keep your rate locked forever, right? But that's not all, okay? There's one more trick up my sleeve, and that is this: family pooling. And I call this the ultimate wealth multiplier. When you combine rolling bonuses with family pooling, you create a family bank. Here's how it works. You sign today and you get that 25% signing bonus and deposit your $100,000 or more. Then your family can add money later. So maybe your sister adds $50,000 and she gets your 25% bonus. Your parents add $30,000 in June. Your brother adds $40,000 in September. They all get that 25% bonus because you took action. That pooled $220,000 would all get the 25% bonus. Even if Axe drops the tier down to 10%, by that September, your brother would still get the 25% because he's pulling into your account and he was helped out by your actions. So who can you include? You can include your spouse, your parents, your siblings, your children, your grandparents, your in-laws, your friends. As long as you say, hey, this is someone that I want to add to my account. This is someone that I want to participate in this program. They want to move forward with us, then they are able to participate. And all you have to do to add them is just email sales@axereal.com with their name and their relationship. They send their deposit. They will automatically get your locked-in bonus rate. And each person's deposit has its own 24-month lock from their deposit date for trying to pull out for cash. But they can use it as land credits towards whatever land that they want. This is massive because it means your entire family benefits from your early action. You become the family bank and everyone earns those 18 to even 62% returns. You're pooling resources without everyone signing separate contracts. You lock in the highest tier before Axe drops it and you build generational wealth while waiting for land. So once again, another example, you put in before November 14th, 2025, you get that deposit, and you have that 25% signing bonus, boom, that would be able to get a $25,000 bonus. Then your sister decides to add the $50,000. Well, later at the end, she would get the 25% bonus. And even if Axe drops to 10%, but your parents add $80,000 to your account, well, guess what? That $80,000, that would have grown as well by another $20,000. That's $100,000. So that $230,000 becomes $287,000 in land credit instantly. And that's not even talking about the deferred interest. That's just based off of the bonuses alone. When you factor in the interest, it's even higher than that. So this is why signing now matters. You're not just locking in terms for yourself, you're locking in terms for entire families' future contributions. So what are you waiting for? The clock is ticking and every day you wait costs you thousands in bonus money. So all you have to do is go to axereal.com, okay, and click fund. So let me show you exactly what it looks like. You go to axereal.com and you click Angels 2.0 and this will give you all the information that you need. So again, you go here to axereal.com, you click menu, and you go to Angels 2.0. Alternatively, you could write in the words angel.axereal.com, and that would get you to go to the right website. Or you could leave a comment below, or you could direct message me in the Mighty Network or on Instagram to find out more about this opportunity. All right, let's finish things up with some rapid fire FAQs. Question. Can I start with less than $100,000? Yes. The minimum to lock in a rate is $25,000. All the same terms apply. So the minimum is $25,000. Question, how long is the grace period? Unless otherwise stated, the standard grace period is 120 days or roughly 4 months. That means interest starts accruing after day 120. Every once in a while, I might have a new promotion for a lower grace period, but the standard is a 120-day grace period. Do I get paid monthly or at the end? Well, it's up to you. If you choose the 1% simple, then you can receive monthly payments if needed. If you choose the 1.5% deferred, the interest applies at the end when applied toward your land credit. So we're just going to be accruing it towards your account every single month. Question, what happens to my money during the grace period? Well, it's working. It's working for Axe to develop and acquire properties. You're not charged interest during this time, or we're not charging interest because that's the grace period for us and it allows us to move with speed. Question, can I choose which property my money goes towards? To be super clear, the answer is actually no. The answer is no. The reason we're structuring things this way is because it allows us to move with speed and not having to get every single person's approval before we move forward. Again, we had a situation where there was over $9 million of funds just sitting there because people were all saying, well, I will do it if you use it for my state and my state only. And that was just wasting time. Now, here's what you do get to choose. You do get to choose the 3 preferred states for your 5-year guarantee. And when you're ready to buy, your balance applies to any AXE property you select. So you don't have to choose those 3 states. If you change your mind later and you want to apply it to another property, you can go ahead and apply it to another property as long as it's a brand new property. So you get to choose where you're applying your credits, but we get to choose where we're going to be applying things so that we can strike fast, we can strike hard, and we can strike with no mercy. We can go full Cobra Kai and aggressively go and buy the necessary real estate that we need to buy. What if I want to use this for a property outside my 3 preferred states? That's completely fine. Your balance and interest and bonus applies to any AXE property that you choose. Question, can I pull out early if I really need to? Answer, no. There's an ironclad 24-month minimum. It's a Ulysses contract. Don't sign if you even might need the money. I don't even want to deal with you. I don't even want to deal with it, okay? Only do it if you understand how to think long-term and you know you will not be pulling it out as cash before 24 months. Question, what's the tax situation? Do you issue 1099s? Yes, we can issue 1099s for the interest earned. This is taxable income as interest income on your tax return. So a cool thing about that is that it allows you to actually qualify for more than you otherwise could because now you're showing an income from the interest payments that you're receiving. Question, can my family and I do a land loan together? Yes, you can apply together to create one account, or you can each do separate loans to maximize your bonus amounts. Question, what happens if I die during the loan terms? Answer, the loan transfers to your estate. Your heirs can either continue the term and apply to land or call the loan and receive cash. Question, if AXE sells a property before my term ends, what happens? Your loan is secured by AXE as a company, not individual properties. If we sell a property, your loan continues unaffected and is backed by our entire portfolio. And it really only matters if we were to not pay you your interest terms, but we are very confident in our ability to pay interest. Been not missed a payment in years, in 4 years now. Can I add more money later? Yes, there are rolling contributions, and it's what I recommend people do. I really recommend that people use this opportunity for rolling distributions. Question, what if I change my mind about buying land? Well, at the end of 24 months, you can take the cash instead of applying it to a land, but you still can't pull out early. Question, is this FDIC insured? Answer, no. This is a personal loan secured by AXE real estate assets. It is not a bank deposit. Question, what is simple interest versus compound interest? Okay, this is very important. What we're offering is simple interest, not compound. This is literally due to Texas laws on lending and usury. So simple interest is interest calculated on the original principal only. So your interest is not factored in. Compound interest is interest calculated on the principal plus the accumulated interest up to that point. We use simple interest because of Texas usury laws. Question, can I use my IRA or 401k money for this? The answer is no. IRAs and 401ks have strict rules against prohibited transactions, which include loans to yourself or to businesses you have a relationship with. Since you'd be both the lender and a beneficiary of AXE as a future land buyer, this would likely be considered a prohibited transaction by the IRS. The only way you could be able to do this is you'd have to pull your money completely out of the 401k and take a penalty. So, again, your options for 401k, you could take a distribution, pay taxes and penalties if you're under 59, or you could use personal funds outside of your retirement accounts, and you can consult a tax attorney if you think there's a specific exception to your situation. Bottom line, just don't plan on using IRA or 401k money for this. Don't recommend it. Question, when exactly does my term start? Your term starts on the day your funds are received and the loan agreement is executed. The 120-day grace period begins immediately. Question, what happens if interest rates change or AXE updates the bonus structure? Answer, your rate and bonus are locked in from the day you sign. Even if we change terms for future angels, yours never change, including for rolling contributions. So let's stack this up. If you sign by November 14th, 2025, then let's say you put in $100,000 over the course of 24 months at 1.5% deferred. This is what it would look like. The base interest accrued would be about $30,000 over that time period. Your balance would end up at about $130,000. And with a 25% signing bonus applied, that $130,000 would then become $162,500. So you took $100,000 and in 24 months turned it into $162,500 because you heeded my warning and you signed up and you funded by November 14th, 2025. Again, $30,000 in guaranteed interest. If you were to wait that period, there'd be that would apply to a $32,500 signing bonus because it's $25,000 tacked on at the end. You'd have rolling bonus locked in forever on future contributions. It's backed by over $25 million in real estate collateral and a flawless track record of paying off loans. It would be applied directly to your land purchase. It helps AXE families move faster. You become the bank and you get first choice on parcels. So we determine who gets to choose first for angels based on when they became an angel. So by locking in now, you are putting yourself in position to get first choice on parcels when we open up land later. So act now. Go to angel.axedereal.com now, watch the videos covering our contract, sign up and choose your interest rate to lock in. That I'm aware of. I'm the only CEO that has a landing page where on the front of the landing page, you can go in and literally watch me go through the entire written agreement line by line verbatim in video format. So all you have to do is go to axedereal.com, click menu, and then click Angels 2.0 and scroll down and you will see every single section, every single line read out by me directly one for one to give you a full explanation of how this program works. There's absolutely no guesswork. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, choose your interest rate, and lock in. My name is TJ Visude. Thank you so much for watching this, and I can't wait for you and your family to join us as part of the AXE Angels 2.0 Land Access Family Account Program. Thank you.